Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, the new and improved channel, Nicole Green. Thank you so much for joining today. If this is your first time here, my name is Nicole. I make videos on faith, family, and lifestyle. And if you've already been here for a while and haven't hit that notification bell, make sure to hit it so you're always notified when I put out a new video. I post every Thursday. So today's video is going to be nap/sleep tips and must-haves for getting your baby to sleep through the night. So if you don't already know, I have a son named Jace. He is 10 months old, and I made a video a while back that was called How to Get Your Baby to Sleep Through the Night by 3 months. So I will link it right up here if you haven't seen it. That video is incredibly detailed. It walks you through every single step I took to get Jace to sleep through the night. So here we are now. Jace is 10 months old and he still is doing fantastic at napping and sleeping through the night. And I get tons of questions from you guys on this topic, so I thought I would just make an updated video sharing 7 or 8 of my top tips on what I think would help. Now, if you like structure and routine and want to apply that to your baby's life, then this is gonna be a helpful video for you. I know that isn't for everyone, and some people are a lot more flexible and relaxed when it comes to this topic. So I just wanna make sure people are aware of that. This might not work for everybody. These worked wonders for us, and I know it's helped a lot of other people out there, so that's why I share this information. And I don't think anyone should feel bad if they don't want to apply these things or if it's not quite working for your child. Please keep in mind, every single baby is so different. So some of the things I'm going to be sharing may not work for you, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that you are a failure. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or that there's something wrong with your baby. Every situation is unique, so please, please keep that in mind, because I would never want to make anybody feel bad about their situation. It is hard enough being a mom as it is. Also, a lot of the information I'm sharing I learned from a few books that I've read before Jace was born, and so I'm gonna link them below in the description. If you're interested in learning more and really understanding why I'm applying some of these techniques, then make sure to check those books out. Okay, so let's jump right in. My very first tip is called the pause. Now, I learned this from a book called Bringing Up Baby. What it is essentially getting into the habit of pausing before you pick up your child when they're crying. This is very, very difficult. This is something that kind of goes against what we naturally want to do as mothers, right? The second we hear our baby crying, we want to pick them up, we want to comfort them, we want to feed them. The pause basically challenges you to have a little bit of self-control and just pause and wait to see what your baby's needs are. Because they might just be whimpering because maybe they had a little dream or maybe they felt uncomfortable for a second, and if you just give them a moment, they might actually stop. When he was born, we kind of started that right off the bat. When we were in the hospital, I remember, like, if he was crying, we would stop and wait and see, like, okay, is he gonna stop? Maybe he'll stop and go back to sleep, and many times he did. And so that was nice because it helped us not get into a habit of picking him up every time he's crying. And so I'm not saying that you never pick up your baby. Please don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying that I think the pause is a really great thing to implement. As the baby gets older and older, the pause might look different. Maybe you wait a little bit longer than when they're first born, obviously, because they're learning a little bit more how to self-soothe. And so the book talks a lot about this. If you want to dig into that more, I encourage you to read it. Next thing that I think is really good is to have a good baby monitor. Having a good baby monitor gives you peace of mind, helps you know your baby is safe. This is more so if your baby is taking naps in their crib or in the bassinet, and obviously you're not around. Sometimes in the beginning, your baby's taking naps everywhere. Like Jace would be right out here next to me, so I didn't need a monitor at the start. But once I did start putting him in the crib, I wanted to make sure that I felt confident and comfortable leaving him in there alone. Also, a baby monitor that's not gonna be glitchy and go in and out. I made a whole video on this because I had a very bad experience with a specific monitor, and I switched to the Lumi by Pampers monitor that we have now, which has amazing quality. I can always see Jace perfectly. I can zoom in, it's not pixely. I can see if he's like breathing and moving. And when they're tiny little newborns, this is weird, but you just get this thought, like, are they alive? And so to have a baby monitor where you can actually see your child like making the smallest movement or even like their breaths going up and down helps you to stay calm and not keep running in there because you're worried. Also, going back to the idea of the pause, having that baby monitor, you know, if you hear your baby cry or whimper for a second, you can just take a look at the monitor, give it a couple seconds, see if they stop before you run into the room and potentially disturb their sleep. I will link our baby monitor below, but I do think that is definitely a must-have. Okay, number 3 is baby swaddles. Now, this is hugely important. When we were at the hospital, we just got the regular regular baby swaddle from the hospital, and Jace was constantly breaking out of it. That's because babies have something called a Moro reflex, where they can't control their movements and jolts, so they wake themselves up all the time. And they have that up until like about 3 to 4 months. So before that, swaddling them is really what helps them actually stay awake. And so many times they're waking up constantly, and maybe they could have gone for a longer stretch of sleep if they had a better swaddle. I wish that we understood all of this a lot sooner, because we would have gone with our trusted nested bean swaddle so much earlier. But after I think about 2 months, we started to use the nested bean swaddle. I have recommended this swaddle to you guys so many times, and I still continue to firmly believe that this has worked wonders for Jace. They have a Zen sleepwear line, which includes swaddles, sleep sacks, and PJs. The idea of their technology is that it mimics your embrace, and so it's very nice and snug on them. There's actually a little kind of beanbag pad here that's on the chest of the sleepwear, and what it does is it mimics the gentle touch of a parent or someone, you know, holding them. And so that's something that actually helps them fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. So I shared the swaddle he had when he was really tiny. You can either put their arms down or you can put them up, which he learned to really love the one where it's up. So he used that swaddle, eventually transitioned to the sleep sack, and then after that we didn't know what to do. We were like, okay, well, he doesn't need a sleep sack anymore, but these products have helped him sleep so much better, so what do we do now? So they actually have a footy pajama that you can transition baby to after the sleep sack as well. So the footy pajama is lightweight, it's breathable, so they're not getting super hot, but we did need long sleeves and footy PJs for him at night because it gets a little cold in the room, and it still has that beanbag pad on the chest that he was so used to after all that time. And so that's what we've transitioned him to now, so he can continue getting a restful, healthy night's sleep. So Jace continues to sleep amazingly for 12 hours through the night. They have sizes 0 to 12 months. 100% soft cotton, and the two-way zipper for easy diaper changes, which we absolutely love. And it's perfect for picky sleepers and on-the-go naps. I've recommended their products to anyone who's ever asked me. A lot of you guys have given me such positive feedback that it's helped your babies sleep better and longer and eventually get them sleeping through the night. So as usual, they have kindly provided a discount code, which is Nicole, for 15% off their website from any full-priced items. I will link our exact swaddle, sleep sack, and footy pajamas that we're currently using in the description below. And a huge thank you to Nested Bean for sponsoring this video. I am forever in love with Nested Bean and cannot be happier to work with such a great company. Okay, number 4, sound machine. This was a key item for us. We use the Hatch Baby Rest sound machine and we love it. We always put it on white noise. That's the sound that the book we read recommended. So we always did that at around 40 to 50%, which is kind of loud, but because we live in a small condo, we really want to drown out any noise going on anywhere. It really was a game changer for getting Jace to sleep longer periods and sleep through the night. The thing is, as the person on Instagram messaged me, they were like, aren't they gonna get used to having a sound machine and then never be able to fall asleep without one? So that sort of does become an issue. Because the Hatch Baby is not too big, it's very easy to throw into our luggage or diaper bag, even if we're going to like my parents' house for the day, and just pull out the sound machine and use it. Or sometimes we just put a sound machine on our phone and leave it in the room with Jace. So you can make that work. Also, my sister actually uses a portable battery operated sound machine that you can just hook onto the car seat or stroller and use that on the go as well. But yes, you are sort of getting your child used to it. So I guess that's something to keep in mind depending on how flexible you want your baby to be when it comes to traveling. The other thing is, if they're still having trouble, what I used to do is, especially when he was younger, I would put the sound machine actually at the head of his bed on a table and kind of keep it level to where his head is. And I read this in the Moms on Call book for the positioning of that. For some reason, I think it might help them fall asleep quicker. I did that for quite a while until eventually he got used to it and it was fine. So if you're still having trouble, maybe try that little trick and that might help your baby fall asleep better. All right, number 5 is blackout curtains. Now this is kind of another one where double-edged sword. If you're training them to always have a blackout room, then yes, they're probably going to fall asleep better to owning a blackout room. So depending on how flexible you want your baby to be, what I actually did is I bought these blackout curtains from Amazon that are not like fully blackout. So basically during the day, like right now as he's sleeping in there, there is still some light coming into his room. They do not make it completely black. So what's nice about that is that when we do travel, if we go to someone's house or whatever, he doesn't have to be in a completely blackout room in order to fall asleep. My sister uses like pitch black blackout curtains, so then when she travels, she takes those with her actually, because her children are used to it. So it's nice that mine aren't that extreme, and it allows for a little bit of flexibility, but I did notice that once we changed to those curtains, naps did get a lot better. The next tip is so important, and I realized after I filmed that I forgot to include it, but number 6 is to concentrate on full feedings. Now this is another one that is incredibly challenging because many newborns have difficulty with feedings if they aren't latching correctly or have gas or colic, or they fall asleep in the middle of feedings. Some of these we don't have much control over, but one thing we can help the most with is trying to keep baby awake during feedings to ensure they are getting completely full, and this is important because full babies nap and sleep better through the night. Some tips to keep them awake during feedings is feeding in a well-lit room that is also noisy, and also tickling their toes or rubbing their back. Also, playing with them a few minutes in between switching breasts or changing their diaper will wake them up more and help them get some more milk in their system. Doing your best to get full feedings during nighttime feedings is also important to help them get longer stretches of sleep during the night. Although this one is also very challenging because mom is so tired at night and we usually rush those feedings. But I noticed when I took my time and made sure he fed longer, his sleep was so much better during the night. Number 7, this is another kind of good habit or signs to look out for. I try to always pay attention, and you can do this even when they're, earlier on when they're newborns, pay attention to those signs that they're getting tired or sleepy. And so that's usually like rubbing their eyes or staring off into the distance or yawning. So these are specific signs that show you, hey, your baby's getting tired, it's time for them to go down. So what I would try to make sure I was doing was maximizing that time where they are now tired and ready to go down, and right away take them to the crib or bassinet, because if you wait too long and you kind of miss that little time period where it's the best time to put them to sleep, then they become overtired where they're having trouble putting themselves to sleep anymore. And so you want to take advantage of that and get them to sleep right away, because they'll fall asleep a lot more easily. And last but not least, number 8, routine, routine, routine. All the tips I just gave you are little pieces here and there, but when you put them all together, what you're creating is a routine. And some people hate routine, so this video probably isn't for you, but I love routine. And I think it's healthy for me, it's healthy for my baby, and it's healthy for my family. And so, when you go in the room, have a routine to put your baby down for either a nap or nighttime. Now for me, at this point, naps are very quick and easy. I go in, I close the curtains, I put the sound machine on, I hold him and rock him like I said for a few seconds. I sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and when I start doing that, he takes his little lovey, he goes like this, and he sticks his fingers in his mouth, and he already knows, like, I'm going to sleep now. For nighttime, I take a little bit more time because it's time to wind down, and so, we'll sit down on the rocking chair, I feed him his milk, I read him a Bible story, we read another book, and then I'll pray with him, and we sing a few songs, and then close the curtains, sound machine, put him in his crib. So I take a little bit more time with that, but because he already is so used to that routine, it's just like clockwork now. Like, he knows what's going to happen, he knows what to expect, and he's ready for it. And it might look very different for you, right? I'm not saying that everyone's routine is gonna look like mine. And so find the right routine that works for your family and go with that. But I think that maybe trying out some of these tips might help some of you guys out there. So those are my 8 quick tips for sleeping, napping, and must-haves to get your baby to sleep through the night. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Like I said, if you want details on all of this, you should check out my other video or the books in the description. Leave a comment and let me know if any of you have implemented any of these tips, if they worked for you, if they haven't. All my social media will be listed below. You can find me on Instagram at Nicole Layla Green, where you can follow my daily life, which is so much more fun and exciting. So find us there. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.